Hello everyone, my name is Bagus Herlambang, and today I would like to talk about Oscar Wilde's second last written story and his last play that is adapted into a play called The Importance of Being Earnest. So, in this comedy play, Wilde writes a story about mistaken identities, secret life, and lots of loss. But underneath all the laughs, Wilde also puts in some serious elements, especially about societal rules. Exposing how ridiculous the society norm of its current era, the story is sets in. But before explaining in depth more about the story, I will explain about what kind of things we will be talking about in this video. The first that I will talk about is the summary of the story. The second will be the analysis of the story, and lastly, the conclusion of the story, while also explaining a little bit about the extrinsic element of the backstory behind the creation of this story. Without further ado, let's start with the summary. Okay, so first, the story is set during the 1980s, London, and the focus main character of the story is called Jack Worthing, a seemingly perfect Victorian gentleman who lives on a large estate where he adheres strictly to morality and proper behavior. This lifestyle, as Jack is actually an adopted son of Thomas Cardew, who found and adopted Jack in Hertfordshire subway station when he was a baby. But after the passing of Thomas Cardew, Jack becomes the heir and also the guardian to Cecily Cardew, the 18-year-old granddaughter of the late Thomas Cardew. Living a life with a lot of responsibilities on hand can be really exhausting and boring. So, to escape the boredom of his virtuous life, he invents a fictional brother named Ernest. Jack frequently travels to London, pretending to be Ernest for years to enjoy some excitement by using the excuse that his brother did some problems that require Jack's presence for help. So, during these travels, Jack falls in love for a girl named Gwendolyn Fairfax and proposes to her, and as she agrees because she likes his name, Ernest. But complications arise as Ernest's best friend and cousin of Gwendolyn, whose name is Algernon Moncrief, began suspecting Ernest's real identity and demands the truth before agreeing to the marriage. Ernest has no other choice but to confess about his real identity called Jack Worthing to Algernon, and also Jack's connection to his ward, Cecily. Jack also tells Algernon that he's planning to kill Ernest as an identity, but this time Cecily becomes infatuated and interested with the fictional Ernest, as Jack likes to tell stories about Ernest to her, and at the same time, Ernest also got interested to Cecily when Jack explained about his real identity and his connection to Cecily. Okay. So after Ernest's meeting with Algernon, he got to meet Gwendolyn again, but this time with her mother. Her name is Lady Blacknell. During this meeting, Gwendolyn did reciprocate Ernest's feeling, but she also reinforced the fact that she married him because of his name, Ernest, because it inspires absolute confidence. Lady Blacknell also interviewed about Ernest, especially on his bloodline and his family, but when Ernest or Jack revealed that he doesn't know who his parent is, and he was found on a subway station and adopted without telling what kind of family it is that adopted him, Lady Blacknell flat out rejected and refused the marriage between the two. Heartbroken, Ernest decided to go back to his household as Jack Worthing again. So, after coming back at his household, Jack was about to explain about Ernest's death, but Algernon already arrived earlier by claiming that he is Ernest to get close with Cecily. So Jack has no other choice but to go along with the story because he could get exposed. And during this time, Algernon decides to propose to Cecily, but after knowing the reason that Cecily also liked Ernest because of the same reason as Gwendolyn did, which is the name Ernest, Algernon and Jack tried to go to a church so they can be christened as Ernest with their name. But during this time, Gwendolyn also decided to visit Jack's house without any notice, and she was welcomed by none other than Cecily, wherein this conversation said that she is going to marry Ernest. This created a misunderstanding between the two of them. Okay, then both Jack and Algernon met with both ladies, confused that both of them are named Ernest. But after explaining the story and everything behind it, and that they both are actually going to be Christian with the name Ernest, the ladies then decides to forgive them and agrees to still marry them. But this is when Lady Blacknell arrives chasing after Gwendolyn. But after seeing Jack's real identity and household, she immediately agreed and is actually interested to the marriage between Gwendolyn and Jack. But after many events that happened, a governor then came to tell the news about Ernest's Christian name to Jack and Algernon. But Lady Blacknell, who know the governor is, she is the person that took a baby away from her sister 28 years ago in a handbag and lost it at a subway station. Hearing this, Jack asks further as it's similar to his adoption story, and the truth is unveiled. He is the baby that got abandoned by the governor. This revelation connects the dot that Jack and Algernon are actually brothers and was originally Christian with the name Ernest, as Lady Blacknell informed with the both of them. This turn of event made Jack open his eyes as he realized the importance of honesty from being earnest. This marks the end of the summary of the story. So, he is basically a huge critic towards the society at the time, such as number 1, the importance of bloodline as a value in marriage union, and the second will be the importance of being honest on your identity. In conclusion, this story serves as a biting commentary on the moral bankruptcy and hypocrisy of Victorian society at the time. Lastly, I also want to add that the backstory of this story is theorized to follow Oscar Wilde's other identity, where despite having a wife and a kid or children, he is also seeing another person, and this person is a guy, which at the time is illegal to like the same gender. This reasons is also Wilde's inspirations toward the character double identity in this story. So that is all that I can explain to you about the importance of being earnest, and I hope you understand something from my analysis and summary of the story. And thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye bye.